Just magic. Except that there are no casinos in Trump hotels, but
it's. And I have been in a Trump hotel
anyway.
for 2 weeks, and it was the best hotel I've ever stayed in.
They're very nice.
Yeah, that's how they said all that back in 2015.
That's crazy.
Literally, it happened. Still to think that I think people should push it more is that there was no wars. It's the first time like any president in forever had no new wars. And I don't know why the narrative is being put out there that like this is the end of democracy. If he wins, everything's going down. Because he has a track record now, which there wasn't before.
Yes,
which before you could say you don't know it, but now it's like, no, you have to go with what happened, and there was no new wars.
Not only no new wars, he ended wars.
Yeah, Obama droned and killed more people than any president before him.
Right.
Biden's been there the whole time. These people have track records, and if you put
Obama killed more than Bush.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
I guess he had Hillary there to help him.
Yeah, and it was all just it wasn't. It was drone stuff, so it wasn't like boots on the ground war, but it was just blowing people up and killing people.
More of a slyer. Yeah.
Oh, welcome to.
But the funny is, I don't want to cut across the show, but I mean, when Trump was in power, right over in Europe here, there was like so much anti-Trump sentiment, right?
Oh yeah.
Now it looks like Trump's going to get back into power, right? People are very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
People are very quiet now because they've noticed, right? Okay, they don't like him, but they know he's a far better option than the fucking clown that's in the office now.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Biden's gonna. I agree with Lisa on the election thing. I don't think he's making it to that. I think
okay. So I thought Lisa was saying that the election wouldn't occur.
Yeah,
I don't think it will occur. No,
I'm saying that I think he's going to
trip. Right in terms of
I think the military is going to be out.
I think he's going to trip on the way to the podium, or he's going to get flu. Something's going to happen. They'll be like, "Oh, this happened," and now he does not. He doesn't want to push forward.
He's going to trip in one of the debates and smash himself.
Yeah, it's going to be something. He'll bump his head. And they'll be like, no, there's complications with this injury. He needs to take this. He's an old guy. This changes everything.
Well, they have to do that to educate people on why Kamala is not eligible to be president. So remember this
is weird that she was never brought up.
Yeah, this is the constitutional education of not only America but the world. So they have to 25th Amendment Biden. He was talking about another dead guy. Being president of, I think he said somebody was president of France that's been dead for 3 years or something the other day. So he's just nuts. It's elder abuse. If that's really, which I don't really agree. That's Biden, but that's a whole nother train. Depends on what reality we're discussing here. But they're going to 25th Amendment him
almost 15 years, right? And he is horrific.
Yeah. And then that will expose the education that people need to know. Well, why isn't Kamala eligible? And that'll bring up the anchor baby thing, all coinciding with this borders issue when everybody's talking about, illegal immigration. That'll bring up, what is sovereignty? What's a citizen? All these rules of like who lives where, who deserves what, jurisdiction, all this jurisdiction talk.
Won't they put Newsom in his place now?
Do what?
Newsom? Yeah, Newsom
will take his place.
A big one. Yeah, he's a big. Yeah. But now they're talking about Michael.
They wouldn't risk it. They wouldn't risk putting Big Mike up there because everyone will be talking about, the third leg in the room.
Yeah. Okay, but you know what, Lisa? I think that's great. I think that's a positive. I think people want that. I think people want that penis.
To talk about it.
They want that penis. That's a positive. That's a good thing.
It'll wake more people up. I mean,
no, I think.
Oh, I don't.
No, you're not getting me. I think that's
those people up.
People will be like, "Oh, that's great. She's trained. Oh, she's trained. Oh, we want it." So you're normal.
On.
It's like 51%. Look at what's out there. Look at what people are
Well, I know you,
happy about.
yeah,
Look
you're
at people are
exposed to some odd people in your world, but
and I'm a Texan, and you're an Oklahoman.
Sean, who are you exposed to?
Can you imagine what people in California and Oregon and where's public to stuff people he know? I mean, the United States is not like where we live. The United States is not like the people we hang out with. There's a bunch
I
of
think
people.
the majority is.
No,
I think there's some strange people out there, but I think that 90 or 80% of people make excuses or hold back, act politically correct for the 20% that want to play victim and use politics or their weird kink to make other people make them feel like a victim or
the
whatever.
majority of
80% is too high.
The flock is
No.
sheep, and you can't say, "Oh, there's this huge flock." That's it, dude. The majority of people in the United States are that. Now,
The line is already drawn.
I think it's big. I think it's close. There's a lot more people waking up, but a lot of people. I think
so.
a chunk. Look at the government. Most of the government, most of their representatives are that way, are on that side, are completely corrupt. You have to accept
They
it.
are not
and
the
you have to start to
majority, and they are selected, not elected. If you want to look at the majority is Super Bowl, whatever the hell it's going to be. And all these
49ers,
people,
Lisa,
yeah,
go easy, man. Come on, 49ers going to
whatever
win.
they are. And that is some beer drinking, hands down their pants, good old boy. That's not a bunch of think they're a furry and
they're
wanna
stupid.
pee in a sandbox,
They're
and
stupid, and they do what
they
they're told,
prefer
and they listen to what
all their
they're
girls
told.
to have 3 legs.
That's
I don't believe
it. That's it. They are. You can't say they're the sheep and they're the flock and they listen and they do it and then be like, oh, but no, we're not in control. No, the smart people. It's big, it's growing, but it's not the majority. It's not most people. Look at Europe. If you look at history, every empire falls. Everything
on the fence. They have already staked their claim. You've got like 20% of people that swing elections.
And there's sheeple are sheeple. Most of
I think it's going to be just like what I guess Putin is being interviewed by Tucker. And one of the quotes he said,
yes, and he's being called
a
traitor to the U.S. He's being called a traitor. Exactly. Oh my God, you're shocked. Yeah, that's how people see him. That's the narrative that's now put out. He's a traitor for being a journalist that went and talked to Putin. That is what they're talking about, not letting him in the country. Traitor.
Come on. That's the
traitor is the word used, but people doing what they're doing in our government to our own people. If you use that term,
narrative that's being promoted by the media, which we know is crooked and paid for and manipulated. I do not believe
control. And the media, the mainstream means the majority. Mainstream means majority.
No, it
mainstream.
doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely.
The mainstream is the football people.
But Sean, we know that the mainstream media is controlled by the 3-letter agencies, and it's been manipulated. We know about Project Mockingbird. We know about the psyops. We know about the videos of Taylor Swift, CIA talking about Taylor Swift is the perfect psyop. We know all this.
What percentage?
Yeah, and we know that it has worked for decades.
What percentage of the population interacts with the mainstream media?
The majority. It's your
favorite. Doesn't mean that they might hear it, but it doesn't mean that they are all believing it. It means that's what
I didn't say all. I didn't say all. I said majority. Mainstream is the majority. That's literally what it means. And there's a lot of people, and they're losing so much credibility, but it's still the mainstream. It is.
I think a lot of people are choosing other things. A lot of people
are. The biggest thing about the Super Bowl is Taylor Swift, and that's the narrative that's put out by the 3-letter agencies. Right. It's working.
The Super Bowl is the 49ers, Sean.
It's working, dude. It's working. That's the biggest thing everyone's posting
But
about.
it's also
That's
like
the biggest
a
thing everyone's
could
talking
be a
about.
3D, 5D chess thing because there are things happening with our financial system and Swift. I found out the Swift family was one of their founding tycoon families that like helped with the US Industrial Revolution, which they are crooked then, especially if you never hear their family name.
Mhm.
So, and then we know the SWIFT system is tied to the banking system. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have some issue with the SWIFT system
Yeah, we
coming
know
up
that.
around
Do you
that.
know that the majority of America doesn't know that the SWIFT system exists or what it's called?
That's probably true. That is probably true, actually.
That's it. Yeah, they don't know that. And you're talking about we know this little intricate thing that's the conspiracy, and these people don't know it exists.
Mm-hmm.
See that your
That's
mother
masking.
did a disservice almost in raising you as intelligent as she did and as awake as she did because you think it's normal and is not. People are so oblivious to
Correct.
everything. My
You're
friends were like,
assuming
fake
that
internet
everybody
money,
else.
stupid internet money, dumb crypto. No, and then all of a sudden Libra. So I'm going to be using this crypto, Libra.
See, you're
And then they're
assuming
okay
everybody
with
else is as aware and as
Yeah,
informed as you are.
yeah. You're like everyone on the World Blockchain Roundtable. They just think we're geniuses. And they're like, Sean, when you used to do this and you used to make, AIs when you were 12. Yeah, I was sure. I was trying to get a girl to let me touch her butt. No, I did not write AI when I was 12.
Unfortunately, the majority of people are stupid.
Yeah, they're
They're sheep.
they're ignorant because it's a lot easier and you can be happier if you're.
It's a lot easier. I remember the first time, one of the first times I met Sean, he said to me, "I wish I was stupid because it was so much easier to be happy."
Yeah, when I learn stuff, dude, it scares me sometimes. It's like, oh my god, that's real. Oh, that's real. If you look at MK Ultra, and when you talk to people, you can tell people real things that are true, and they're like, oh, conspiracy theories. No, that's an actual conspiracy. It's real. This is declassified stuff, and this. I don't know. I don't know. Like, what does that mean? That means I'm ignoring what you just said. I don't want to talk about it. No. And people want to be ignorant. You can lead the
they're
horse to
blissful.
water. Yeah, that's it. They want to be that way because they feel powerless, and that's what's scary when you have people that think that it's not just that they know stuff, but that they feel like they have power or authority to stand up.
Yeah.
That's what scares everybody. That's the thing about like what's happening in Texas, and that's.
And you're
But that's what it's going to
very
take. It's
similar.
going to take personal responsibility to get out of this. And that is what scares people to death because no one's coming to save you. The government's not going to fix it. Clearly
government's not
the
gonna fix it.
senators, whatever, are not going to write a bill that fixes it. It's going to take personal responsibility. It's going to take our neighbors. It's going to take us to stand up for ourselves.
Ignorance is
But
bliss.
see, Lisa, that kills so many narratives. No one's coming to save you. Gun control gone. So many things that we depend upon or look to the government. Peace gone. All these other things. When you realize that, when you realize no one's coming to save you, no one's coming to feed you, no one's coming to you, you're going to have to get this done. Everything changes.
Yeah.
You become so much more self-reliant. You do
The problem is that realization takes so long for a lot of people.
Yeah, but that's what kills. It doesn't just kill like one narrative or two. That kills like the whole thing. When people realize, oh, we're going to have to do this ourselves, and that's when you realize the importance of community, the importance of knowing your neighbor, the importance of
your values change too.
Yeah.
I mean, think about.
Hence why I've always said,
Yeah.
There's no need for government.
Yeah, the only need for it, and that's what's the basic for
the small term. There's small needs
is to keep the border, protected. That's your job to just keep us safe and protect our rights from those who are trying to infringe on it. that's like, it's like a small job, but when you give them power and authority, they want more until they become tyrants.
But if we weren't giving handouts, we wouldn't need to close the border. There would be nothing to stop for them to come here for. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, I think,
Same in
one of
Europe,
our
Lisa.
biggest problems is that we have this whole system where the government has tricked us to submit this idea that they're here from the government and they're here to help. So we better be good little slaves and pay our taxes so that they can decide who to give it to. And
Yeah.
then they turn around and screw us and give it to people who are invading us.
Yeah.
And
Invading is a great word.
yeah, and not
Yeah.
give it to our roads, our teachers, our benefit, our lifestyle.
Veterans.
It's not bettering my life for them to give invaders of my state or my country benefits, health benefits, and food and legal services and whatever. That's
Me and
not a
Sean
representation of me.
Me and Sean had this conversation 3 or 4 years ago, Sean, I think, when we had this huge surge of people here, yeah, where Sean was asking, like, why is there so many people coming? And like, right, landing on European soil immediately gets you about €1,000 a month in benefits, cash in your hand. You have no electricity bills, you have no water bills, you have no healthcare bills. You are automatically assigned a apartment or a house. You know, if you have kids, you can multiply that by 4. So you can be pulling $4,000 or $4,000 or €4,000 a month straight away. Why wouldn't you come here?
It's insane.
And who's paying for it? We're paying for it.
Completely insane.
It's insane.
Phil's saying so that's
Social healthcare does not work when it's fucking overloaded with people that don't contribute to it.
Right.
Phil
So
makes a good point, and that's, if you just look at history, dude, you can't. We're ignorant.
Is a great tell.
We're ignorant too. You know,
Mhm.
we think, oh, it's different for us. It's going to be different. That no,
Mm-mm.
dude,
No, it's always the same.
History works the same.
History repeats.
I will say that when Governor Abbott wrote that letter, he did use the term invaded or invasion.
Yeah.
And when I looked up the law on it in the preamble, it says you can only use, like, it's only legal for them to, like, use
for being
their
invaded.
guard in an act of war against, in the case of invasion. And so that was
As in
significant.
an army.
Yeah.
Or now that one dude that came in, he was a terrorist. He's on a terrorist watch list. And
300 people have come in on the terrorist watch list and got through the border.
Yeah,
Wow.
well, this
And
one
got
guy,
notice to appears that will.
This one guy said,
appear in
"You'll
the
know
next
who
8
I
to 10
am
years.
soon enough." And he was like a journalist was there. It's like, "You'll know who I am soon enough." And then everyone's like, "This dude is like a bad guy."
Wow.
It's insane. It's insane. Do you know what's funny? In Europe, we've always looked to America in terms of what happens there will happen next over here, right? And now it's the complete opposite in terms of.
It is. I was about to say it's the opposite, because we've become Europe. I've been saying this to you for years. There's no difference between us and most European countries. You know, literally, there were people walking around. There were kids walking around Ireland protesting. You know, I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Yeah,
they were all across Europe. They were setting fires. You know, in George Floyd's name, and that's why Biden said that Martin Luther King's death had less of an impact. That George Floyd was a bigger.
Oh, 100% less impact. Yeah. I mean, like over here, we're losing our identity and nationalities.
Yeah.
Wow.
For the sake of keeping Africa and the Middle East happy. I mean,
you're losing control to the people that own the most stuff.
But now you're ahead of us.
Well, that's the thing. See, now I was about to tell you. I agree with you. Now, whatever happens in Europe is going to happen here next, because we've become Europe. And it was like 4 years ago. I'm like, why are they letting everyone do this? Why is this happening? There's more kebab stands than there is worse stands in Germany.
Look at Germany, man. They let 1 million people in 9 months in 1 year. I mean, 1 million people.
Oh my gosh, I am says they're now arguing over the definition of invasion in the Supreme Court.
You just said that, Lisa, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes. So I had picked that up that was significant that he used that term.
Yeah, that's legalistic. That's legalese, man. That he
It
did.
is.
Yeah.
To me, it's crazy that you're arguing over the definition of a word, and all you got to do is look across the water.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
But once again, if we weren't giving these handouts,
Correct.
then there's nothing. Then come here if you want. It's more like cryptocurrency. The
Yeah.
more people, the better. If you're contributing, if you're coming here to contribute and work hard
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
keep your stuff, what you work for and earn,
Grow the
and
economy.
yeah,
Contribute.
great.
Yeah.
But there's no handouts
Yeah.
here.
Speaking of
But look at the
MLK,
50s and 60s, Lisa. Anybody that went there knew, right? When I land on this soil, I got to fucking
you have
ass up, head
opportunity.
down. I got to work.
You have opportunity. You don't have
Yeah, you have opportunity.
guarantee.
Now it's like
Yeah.
you get the border, you lie down, you go, give it to me.
Yeah.
But talking about MLK,
yeah.
his whole thing, it's just like you just don't. And I didn't get this years ago. You know, with Joe and what Greg would say, just don't comply. We just don't do it. Just take yourself out of the system. That's what is happening now, but it's on a state level. You know, the federal government and now the Supreme Court's like, no, you do this, and we're just like, nah. You know, they argue over what's an invasion. They can argue over what a man is or what a woman is or what you can argue, but whatever they come up with, if we don't accept it, no, we're not gonna.
Well, I think that's part of the reason. I mean, if you look at all this, line it all up, there's been, 23 states that made gold and silver legal tender during the Great Infection. There's Texas has been working on the digital or gold and silver backed digital currency. Texas was doing or contacted or working with BRICS on possible deals, state to, what wasn't BRICS? Who was it in BRICS? They were meeting with somebody inside of BRICS and talking about doing like state to nation direct deals. Do you remember that, Sean? Were we talking about?
Yeah.
I think we talked about it on this show. And I can't remember what country it was now, but I mean, it's very possible. It's all very possible. And if the court is compromised.
Yeah, last summer I spent 4 or 5 weeks in the US. First time I've been there since 18.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I was shocked at how much it changes. Because when I go to the US, I travel coast to coast, and I go north, south, east, west, right? Because I like to see how things have changed over the course of a year or 2 years. Right? Jesus Christ, man, it is unrecognizable now in the south.
Yeah.
So, Joanna, those forms you couldn't get for a little while from the IRS. They do have them back in stock, and you can request them. They'll send them to your home. And the new ITMs that I tell you guys about, if you go to my channel and look at the home page for videos, there is a short video where I walk you through the new ITMs that they put in during the Great Infection that have the coin enter and the coin dispenser. And there is also a place to scan in your check and a pad for signature as well. And I think those will be used eventually once we get through this crap, or with the new reset or whatever. Once the
reset could be, I would hope the reset is going to be absolutely massive.
Should be. It'd be interesting if it happened around the time of the eclipse, because that's supposed to be like part of the Jupiter return.
I seen a very strange thing actually yesterday, where somebody was discussing Mars and some of the chemicals and radiation that's been detected there has only ever been detected on Europe twice, and that was where the 2 atomic bombs were dropped.
Interesting.
And the theory was that the Mars thousands of years ago was actually where the moon Mars was the population was, and they destroyed themselves. And only the very few people came to Earth.
Hmm.
A lot of stuff's coming out about space and life, but it's coming out like it's normal, which is what's very insane.
That's true. Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, sure. There's always been aliens. Oh yeah, you know.
I mean, I want somebody to explain the pyramids to me.
Yeah, it's like the Area 51 thing that I always talk about. Like they make things, they normalize it. So finally, when it comes out, you know, people are like, yeah, sure, everybody knew, you know, and it's not a big deal. It's not like, oh my God, you lied to me, you know, for years and years. You know, nobody cares. It's not huge. As far you can watch Independence Day, that was like not super long ago, and the president's like, "Sir, there is no Area 51, nothing, blah blah blah," and then the guy's like, "Well, Mr. President, that's not entirely accurate." It's like, what?
Well, it's accepted now. It's accepted now.
And then it comes out, and everyone's like, "Yeah, we know it." Not, oh my God, you've lied to us. Oh my God, you killed people. Oh my God, you ruined scientists' lives that were whistleblowers and tried to tell us the truth. None of that. There's no outrage.
But nobody can explain the pyramids.
No. You know, no one can. There's
showed to fuck. You tell me a civilization 10,000 years ago.
Okay.
It's way behind us, apparently. Built those things.
Lisa, don't get sensitive. But you know how like certain basic things, like you didn't know that Jewish people, Christians, and Muslims all worship the same God. Something so basic. That's how like most people are about everything.
The fucking Old Testament.
Do you know how many planets? How many planets are in the solar system? Our solar system.
They change their mind on that. Sometimes they count Pluto,
correct,
and sometimes they don't.
There's 8 at the moment.
8 or 9. Thousands.
Yeah.
There's thousands. Do you know about the Kuiper Belt? Do you know what the Kuiper Belt?
I know about the Van Allen Belt.
The Kuiper Belt is a bunch of dwarf planets and asteroids that are past Pluto. Forget about the fact that we have a binary star system, most likely. People can't even touch that. Planet X, there's all that stuff. But just what we can tell, which is real, is that there's tons and tons of dwarf planets, giant asteroids make the Kuiper Belt around the solar system. Correct. In a belt. But then around that, like a ball, is even more. We're not like 9 planets and everything's clear. We're inside of a globe of completely surrounded by all of these small planetoids.
We should look at every star in the system is a galaxy. Every star you look up is a galaxy.
Yeah. But just us, just our system, the solar system, there's so much that regular people just don't know. They don't understand. There's most likely a dwarf star out past Pluto, but it's a dark star. See, these things get weird. But that would mean that we're a binary system. Then there's Planet X, where people say that Anunnaki come from and all that. But that's a dark planet past Pluto, so it's in a dark, and it's inside the Kuiper Belt. There's stuff in the Kuiper Belt that we know about that defies science. There's like this one thing that spins around in a way that is man-made, that is like creating gravity inside of it. We had the Voyager. It was the telescope, and then we went to look at it, and as soon as we got close, it shut down and then restarted after it had passed by. There's all this kind of stuff people don't even want to look at. But there are, the fact that people don't know what our own solar system is and what is past Pluto. Everyone's arguing about Pluto. Dude, there's hundreds and thousands of Pluto planetoids past it. And just look at the Kuiper Belt. Why don't you look into the Kuiper Belt and just find out what it is? That's part of our system.
I don't know why you're so excited about that.
Well, there's a lot of crazy stuff out there.
I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, a lot of things that point to, like, it's just obvious that there's life. It's obvious that we're being watched. It's obvious.
It's completely obvious we watched it. Completely obvious that we're not the only people on fucking.
Yeah, like you're talking about. There's of course, there's most likely life. NASA
puts far more ahead of us.
Picture that NASA puts out. It's proven they doctored it. They changed stuff, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we had to hide some stuff for national."
I heard that they were all artist renderings.
Well, that's of the Earth, but when they put out stuff from like the Mars rover, when like people check it, they're like, "Hey, this has been changed. This has been," and they're like, "Yeah, for national security, we had to change it." What does that mean?
Are you telling me Michelangelo was a human being? No chance.
What did you? That's another thing. Like, there's certain people that are just, look at Tesla and the stuff that's put away, that's a hidden. What was it? What was the empire that I talked about last week?
The
Roman. I was on here last week.
The China. So the Great Wall of China.
Yes.
The holes that the archers to shoot the Mongols. Those holes are the other way. They're to shoot into China. So people are talking about how the wall was actually built by that other
Tartaria.
The what?
Tartaria.
Tartarians, yeah.
That's what you were talking about.
And they had some like technology with resonance and vibrations and other stuff that just it's insane.
That's Graham. Is it Graham Hancock or Graham? Is that his name? You can watch all his shows. He's real into all that. Has all that. He can tell you about the pyramids.
Nobody can tell me about the pyramids, Lisa.
He could.
Even Joe Rogan can't tell me about the fucking pyramids.
He would be a good one to tell you about the pyramids.
Or why there's pyramids. Why there's pyramids in every country pretty much. There's pyramids in the United States.
There's pyramids in pretty much every country, and the ones in Egypt are nowhere near the biggest ones.
Yeah, there's pyramids everywhere, and the Antarctica. Don't even we can get started on that. The craziness there.
Tell me about them.
So much.
You telling me somebody pulled in things up with a fucking rope? No chance.
No chance. Did you guys see did we talk about the Bitcoin being sold from Silk Road? I guess it's kind of old now. It came out January 25th. But they put a public notice out. I don't know if they have to put the public notice out and then wait so many days. And then
48 hours.
48 hours.
48 hours they have to.
Oh, okay. But
I don't know how much they sold. It didn't have any impact, did it?
Did it, or will they sell it over time? Is it one of those things where, like, when the when the shareholders, like when JP Morgan is going to sell it, he has to announce it, and then he can over time or whatever? Is it that kind of thing?
Lisa, I do a lot of trading, I watch charts, and I don't think it has or will have that much of an impact. I mean, how much Bitcoin are we talking overall?
It says $130 million in Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's not much.
That won't touch the sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't think that wouldn't do anything.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, Bitcoin takes a lot. I love it.
Yeah.
You've been waiting for that for 4 years so people can use that. Yeah. Hey, do your foot long, man.
No, I don't have that. That's not here. All that stuff's
you don't have that?
All that stuff's gone. Yeah, that's in the old version. I don't know how you still have it.
I actually added you as an admin 6 months ago and you still haven't accepted it.
You got your t-shirt, you done left fingerprints and all. You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real. He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they raping everybody out here.
Oh, my God.
Terrible. Gazoo Very is going up because Reggie just posted another patent. And we'll be doing an interview with him on the, not with him, with an expert on the Very Dow channel to talk about that new patent that's been.
Whereas version more viewed by the first.
When we had Joe on, do you know that Dragon has went up 600% in the past like 8 months?
Wow.
When it's been up like 200% in the past 2
Yeah,
months.
it's up like 300%, 300% in a week.
Yeah, oh, it's like 280 or something like that. Yeah, it's like
280, yeah. 20%.
He didn't even know. Well, he acts like he doesn't know. I don't know, man. I think
Surely he knows.
He knows.
he's like, I
He
don't
knows.
know. Really?
He
I
knows.
don't care.
The first question I asked him was like, "What the fuck's going on, Joe?" He knows. He knows. I'm going to bring him on.
I asked him to come on I think I'm going to have him on a Monday sometime and talk about like his whole
You got to
history.
push him, Lisa, and go, tell me what's going on.
Well, I don't know about that, but
We're doing $1 bets on fucking stake.com, and Joe is sitting, come on.
we got to know.
Yeah.
We got to know what's going on, eh?
Well, I think we should wrap stuff up. It's 38 minutes.
All right. Thanks, guys. It was great to do a show with you, Kiffs.
Yeah.
Super nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. My name is Lee.
Lee. Yeah. I'm sorry. I know that. Sean calls you Lee all the time when he talks to me.
Yeah.
Lee.
Yeah, we have much to do this again.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Good stuff.
So
right,
what are we going to end with?
You got to use a foot long. Come on, man.
Here, let's talk about sexy Joe Biden.
So I was just filling out my paperwork for the MBA from yesterday, and I realized that I don't have the address. Could you get it for me?
1216 East McKinley.
Thank you so much. I mean, I have just been slammed with paperwork. You sound tall. How tall are you?
5'10".
Has anybody ever told you that you sound like Joe Biden?
Is that a good thing?
Oh, it's a great thing. I mean, definitely in my book. Thanks, gotta go out.